Good morning, everybody. We have a mixed to higher trade in the grain markets here early on Friday morning. It is 6:30 a.m. Central Time. March corn futures unchanged at 5.50. March soybeans are up 3 1/4 at 13.75 3/4. March Chicago wheat up 5 3/4 at 6.43 1/4. March Kansas City wheat is up 4.5 cents at 6.23 1/4. March spring wheat up 5 1/4 at 6.27. USDA confirmed yesterday the largest weekly export sales number for corn on record. Net old crop sales 7.4 million metric tons. That's about 291 million bushels. That was the largest on record for any week by a wide margin. U.S. exporters have already sold 87% of the USDA target for the entire marketing year, which of course does not end until August 31st. This leads many people to the conclusion that USDA has to raise its export forecast given that we're so out of line seasonally. So that is something that I think a lot of people expect to see next week, a big bump to the export projection. Now, in terms of shipments, I think that some people would argue that shipments are an issue here. Only 35 or 36% of what has been sold for export has been shipped, which is the lowest in at least 15 years and probably more than that. So we have a relatively slow pace of shipments here, and I'm not quite sure how this will pan out. If the shipments pace eventually catches up, maybe you see cancellations or switching. There's a lot of things that could happen here. So there's a lot of interesting things going on with corn exports. Fantastic sales, best on record, I believe. Shipments kind of struggling. Cargill's CEO said that Chinese corn and soybean purchases will continue. He said they've got at least another couple quarters to go. That was the quote, before supplies are sufficient, he said in an interview this week. Now, Chinese demand, of course, does not all have to come to the United States. As a matter of fact, if you look at forward pricing, global corn, global soybeans, the U.S. probably will not be competitive when it comes to corn by this time next month, or say mid-March, when Argentina gets into the bulk of their corn harvest. Same thing with soybeans. By next month, Brazil's going to have a lot of beans available. And then when you get into Brazil's second corn crop, which is, that like June time frame, I don't know that the U.S. will be competitive by that time either. So there are some things that are changing here, but Cargill's CEO indicating that he believes that this very strong Chinese demand will continue. Estimates for Argentina's corn crop have declined. The grain exchange there pegged the crop at 46 million metric tons, down from 47 previously. They're citing water deficits during December, so dry weather essentially. Traders expect USDA to print a number near 47 next week. Argentina's corn harvest again will be in full swing in March and is generally completed in April. Brazil's ag minister expects big corn and soybean crops. That's no surprise. One of the quotes here that was in a speech, I guess, is interesting. Our goal is to produce more each year and break records. So I don't think that Brazil has any intention of stalling out on their acreage expansion or in terms of producing more crops every year. And they break records every year just simply because they continue to expand acreage, and it kind of looks like that may continue. Looking at the drought monitor here, and you've still got some major issues. Northern Plains, Western Corn Belt into part of the Southern Plains, most notably North Dakota, South Dakota, a lot of Minnesota, Western Iowa, down into almost all of Nebraska, Western Nebraska especially bad, the northern part of Kansas, and then some areas of say the Texas Panhandle into part of Oklahoma. There's really not a ton of relief in sight here either. I mean, for the next couple of weeks, you're looking at, maybe a half an inch of rainfall or snow equivalent in a lot of these areas. It's just not enough. And this is, it's February 5th. We're not that far from row crop planting. I don't think the markets are concerned about this yet. I don't think there's a reason to be, but it's certainly something to pay attention to. Cattle futures were higher yesterday. Not a big rally, but we had the nearby February fat cattle up almost a buck, up $1.30 in the Aprils. Feeders were up 80 to 90 cents in the spot month contracts. There was some light cash trade reported, 111.5 to 114. That's what USDA reported. It's pretty thin though. The boxed beef market was a little bit lower yesterday. The outside markets, stock market's strong again. The Dow is up 127 points ahead of the cash open. S&P's up 17. Gold and silver up a little bit. The U.S. dollar is down just a little bit, but has been generally strong. Crude oil is up 63 cents in the March WTI contract at 56.86. The bonds are down a little bit here on Friday morning. If you guys would like some more information from me, as always, go to my website. It is www.standardgrain.com. Go to that website, click on Grain Marketing Plan here in the upper right-hand corner. You can sign up for my subscription service for $49 a month. It's billed through PayPal automatically to your credit card every month. You can cancel it at absolutely any time. You get my morning email, which goes out every business day at 6:30 a.m. Central Time. You get my text message service. You'll be made aware of any overnight headline that you need to be aware of, all my grain marketing recommendations, any sort of breaking news, that sort of stuff. You can cancel this thing at any time. You don't need a trading account, no obligation whatsoever. Everybody have a real nice weekend, and I will talk to you on Monday.